Francie, round of applause for you. Jared, Patrick's taken this on. He's put us live. I really appreciate it. Tip it down behind the computer.
Jazz hands. Okay.
Great.
It's Patrick, the slow clap.
Slow down. Today I was told not only to slow down, Jared, but I was told to settle down. Both. I got both today.
In the same day.
You were getting out of hand. I actually had to ask you, Jared, him, JG, do you need to eat? Are you hungry right now? I felt like his mother, for Christ's sake. This is crazy.
Folks, if you're enjoying this kind of behind the chit chat, you'll really love the Real Riff coming to a home near you. Huh?
Oh, the Real Riff coming to a download near you. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, very good.
When is the Real Riff going live? Next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. So, listen, folks, we're here. Patrick, Jared, we're here. We're talking today about the Till Property Group Bootcamp, which is coming up in like 10 days. Is it 10 days? Yeah, 10 days. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's not this weekend. It's next weekend. Super exciting for a couple different reasons. But, you know, Jared, you've been doing this now a really long time. You've been to tons of events. You've hosted, you've spoke, you've paneled. You've done just about everything at events. Why host another boot camp, dude? I mean, seriously, why another boot camp? What's different about this one?
Oh, great question. You know, essentially what we're doing is we're blowing up everything we've learned, Patrick and I, everything we've learned about real estate investing, and we're just blowing it all up. And, you know, everything we've learned that we haven't liked about real estate investing.
Well, not about real estate investing, but real estate investing education overall. I want to add that little spot. It's something to get on top of, because there's a lot of things we don't like about real estate investing too.
Well, Patrick and I, we've been investing in this game for a very long time, and you know, we've come to realize that it's not more strategies and it's not more information, and because there's all that stuff's out there, and so what we want to do is just really blow up everything that we've learned about education and really tie it into a different way of, you know, delivering it, you know, and it's more of a handheld, ask your questions. We're going to walk you, we're going to do it with you versus, you know, tell you how to do it, or, you know, it's a do it with you program.
Gotcha.
I think JG, you hit it when we were talking briefly earlier on. I think that you hit it right on. Here's the fundamental difference about this weekend. And Jared and I have talked about this in the team, and ultimately this is not a passively sit back and be talked at or talked to and taking notes. You'll take lots of notes, but this is getting engaged. This is role playing. This is open Q&A. This is an ongoing conversation that are filling the gaps that you may have as a real estate investor. And it really doesn't matter what level you're at. Whether you're just getting started or you're actually even quite accomplished. This is going to take anything that you're doing to the next level, because we're opening up conversations. There's going to be myself, Jared, John Heaney. I think Wayne's going to be there. Yeah, I mean, accounting, legal, like we've got you covered. And this is going to be really a very intimate setting. It's a small group. We don't have hundreds of people and at all. It's going to be quite a small group. And we're excited about it. This is a new way, but I do want to stress one thing. If you're an introvert, you have to be willing to break through your introvertedness, because nobody's going to sit back like a wallflower. We're getting to work.
Which frankly, if you're introverted, this is exactly where you should be, because
100%.
This is how you need. Yeah, if you're going to raise capital, if you're going to do deals, if you're going to buy private, if you're going to sell private, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. And if you're being introverted, which is okay, there's a lot of introverts. You know, not everyone's crazy like Jared and myself. I mean, Patrick, you're much more introverted than the two of us.
I'm way introverted. But what you just listed off, JVs, RSPs, rate, like in raising capital overall, getting deals done, and how do you structure deals, having those conversations. That's just some of the content and some of the topics that we're going to put on in these conversations as well.
You know, I look back. You know, I look back to years ago. I sold photocopiers for Xerox, and we used to role play all of the time, weekly. Like weekly, we role played. And the reason why role playing is so good is it teaches you. You know, great example. I was doing a coaching call today with one of my clients, and we sat there for 45 on a Zoom call, 45 minutes on a Zoom call, and we role played a scenario of them talking to a joint venture agreement. And this is something I learned back in my days. I taught myself back, or I was taught back in the days of Xerox. Role play, role play, role play. And you constantly are honing your skill, developing new habits, learning new ways to respond. Because these guys these clients of mine, they were trying so hard to get it right, when really you don't have to get it right, because you can't say the wrong thing to the right people, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong people. And did I say that right? You can't say the wrong thing to the right people. Yeah. So so ultimately you have to show up very authentic, and you have to show up very real. And in order to become authentic, you have to get comfortable having these conversations. So the boot camps that we do are very hands-on, and in fact, I don't really want people that are not willing to take action. I don't want people that are going to sit on their hands and not raise their hand and ask questions or participate.
Get in.
That's why the rooms are small. We're not going to have a lineup of speakers going across the stage. It is, we are going to have speakers, but it's raise your hand and ask the question. We want to get instant results. And along with those instant results are some role playing. We are going to put certain situations and examples in front of you and the room that you can watch people struggle through the conversation and watch them have success as they get through it.
And I think one of the things that I really, really love about these types of boot camps, which I've attended many times over the course of my career, I participated in, is this is where the profession, this is where the good get to great, and this is where the beginners get to really good. And from my perspective, it's really a behind the scenes on the kinds of things that we do on a day-to-day basis, the behind the scenes on how you do it, Jared, with your joint venture partners, how you raise capital, how John Heaney raises capital, and Patrick, how you treated your business like a real estate, your real estate like a business. Yeah, and it's really the behind the scenes that we sometimes don't have time to deliver in videos, even in presentations, even at Acres, for example. It's a next layer of deep dive. It's a next layer of content, but it's a next layer of activity, not just content. It's the next layer of activity, which leads action. I mean, you can't figure this shit out standing still, period, end of story.
I would actually say this. I would say it's the next layer of support. And, this is the next layer of support that we want to give you in order for you to go off and have success. You're going to have Patrick, who is, a very, established business owner, real estate investor. You're going to have me, who's a very established real estate investor / business owner second. Patrick was a business owner first, and then he got into real estate. I was a business owner second because I started with real estate. So you're going to have two, and Patrick's 20-ish years older than I am. So we're going to present two different views on how to run this and how to structure your business for a scalable result. And so I would say it's another layer of support that we want to give you versus a deeper dive into something, because there's deep dives all over the place, and people use that term all the time. But the truth is, we want to create this culture, this community, that we're all behind it together to support you, the listener, the viewers, in their results, whatever they want to get.
Well, interesting about this community, because it's in these kinds of events that you establish a deeper level of connection that you've never established before as a real estate investor, because it's a small group of, it's not like Patrick said. I mean, we were at Acre last weekend, or was it last weekend? Feels like forever ago, but I think it was last week. There's 500 or so, almost 500 people there. In Vancouver, Acre, there's going to be another 500 people there. These events, the ones that are boot camps in action, in the trenches, behind the scenes, they don't have 500 people. So the people you do talk to, the 15, 20, 30, 40 people you're going to connect with, you connect very deeply, and they become your inner circle of support, Patrick, as Stephanie put it. And this is the secret weapon that people don't understand.
They don't
to
get it.
Being super successful in real estate. It's not the how-to strategy. It's not learning about rent to own. It's not learning about AFS. It's these communities, these micro communities.
This goes back to one of my favorite sayings. If more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs. And the reality of it is, it isn't about more information. It's about getting supported and taking action in how you use that information. so this particular event that, Tilt is putting on, and as Jared and I have worked through it, you were talking about a coaching client that you just spoke with, Jared, and over this week alone, I've talked to a number, but two stand out, really, really cool. So one was a younger lady who has a real estate portfolio, is feeling stuck. So we've had a couple of different conversations, and what we got to is none of it is about real estate. It's actually what she's got going on for herself, her son, her husband, and really it's about just who she. Well, thanks for all that. That was really great. Thanks, JG. So I love that. JG, marketing guru, you're going to be talking about that at Vancouver Acre. I love that. Anyways.
Vancouver, sorry, there you go, Jared. I love it. So fun fact, sorry, Patrick, to interrupt, but Vancouver, I love you, and you're so fortunate because I'm doing a 2-part talk. Unfortunately, Edmonton only got 1-part talk. Patrick cut my time. He wanted more time. So I got a 2-part.
It's my fault. Yes, it is. Damn it. So, okay. So the next part of what I was saying, because I don't want to lose that train of thought, is so that individual wasn't about how to at all. It was about what is going on for her with her family that left her stuck. In a couple of different calls, short calls, we got her bust through that, and now she has a path to take. The other individual I talked to, which was really great, he's actually quite experienced in the world of finance, and he shared with me something that he's got going on. So he's actually doing a renovation in Ontario. He doesn't live in the province. He lives in the US. And this is the second time he's going, and he goes, Patrick, I just want to describe, he said, last time I spoke with you, gave me some really great guidance, took it, worked out perfectly. I want to give you the scenario that I'm about to work through. And if you could just point out what you see as things that I might want to, what gaps you would identify. So I did that with him. So the point of that whole kind of long-winded story is that in this scenario, it doesn't matter what you're doing. When you start to express it, there's an opening and an opportunity for myself or Jared or John to kind of dig in to support you. Well, everybody in the room gets to learn from that experience, because there's always, I don't care if you're just starting out and you're dealing with something fundamental, when you start to have a conversation about it, everybody in the room at every level learns something from it.
It's almost like, I sorry to interrupt you, just to play off that. It's like it's no different than my training programs that I have for my coaching clients. And it's very in depth, and it's on the spot, and it's real life lessons, and we do small group coaching at times with 10, 12 clients at a time, and there's something to be learned from someone else's experience, just like what you were talking about. So that's what's going to happen at this event. Someone's going to raise their hand if they have a question. First of all, when you have an event of 500 people, it's impossible to ask a question. So these events are a lot smaller, a lot more intimate, that you have a question, we're going to answer it on the spot. And the chances are that question that's being asked, you probably have a version of that question as well.
Sorry, JG, go ahead.
One of the things I'm so grateful for, and you just said something interesting, Jared, that I think a lot of people don't give enough credence to, which is, don't learn from your mistakes if you can learn from other people's mistakes. I mean, so many people, they seem to have this aversion to these sessions because they want to, they haven't made those mistakes. Great, learn from other people's mistakes. You're going to be so much further ahead in 2, 3, 5 years because you're learning from other people's mistakes. And it's thanks to the advanced generation like the two of you that I've been so fortunate. So thank you to both of you.
Advanced generation, yes. I think this is cool. This is not rehearsed. We don't do it that way because we're just kind of riff off shit. But, here's the question, is that I was asked, why the hell are we doing this? We're charging a really, if you're a RAIN member, there's really low pricing. It's all priced. I don't even remember what it was off the top of my head. $297.
$297. RAIN member is $129, and early bird special is $179.
Right. So if we only put less than 100 people in the room, we might only decide to put 50 in the room. By the way, we're working through it. But why the hell are we doing this? And part of this was driven by just a real true conversation that Jared and I had some time ago, which was, let's take something and really play with an educative experience that can really change how we do things going forward. Jared got into it. He goes, dude, I only do this kind of stuff with my private clients who actually pay thousands of dollars to be it. And he said, so I said, okay, well, let's give people a behind the scenes experience of, because even that day and a half, which is a lot, is really going to open up some doors of thinking and processing about what they can do. And it was that. It wasn't, I mean, if we were trying to make, millions at it or make money at it, we're not selling real estate.
Yeah.
Right? We're not realtors. We're not there to sell real estate. We truly are passionate about helping and supporting others in achieving success investing in real estate.
I will promise right now there won't be one house for sale on a slide or on a deck or anything like that. I'm not an agent, and that's one of the things.
You got a realtor in the back of the room? You got a realtor in the back of the room?
Well, my realtor will be there, but he comes to learn too, and he comes to support what I'm doing. But it's not going to be, hey, go talk to Keith or Vinny or Brent or whatever it is. One of the things that sets us apart from everybody else, Patrick, and JG, we've all talked about this, and I think we actually talked about it on the Real Riff, is we are not agents. So our agenda is not to move properties or to push you to a certain building that we're trying to move or anything like that. We are truly 100% real estate investors first and foremost. And so the method to our madness of our education and our training systems is purely from what we wanted or what we would want and how we would want to be taught it to help us have success if we were back in when we started back in 2003, Patrick, you 2001, JG, you 2013. So what we're doing is we're delivering on the systems and products and information of how we wanted it. Because if I had this back in the day, I wouldn't have had to have made all the mistakes that I made. That's the truth. And back in the day in 2003, Facebook wasn't what it is. I don't even know if it was around. YouTube wasn't what it is now. So the source of information was harder to get. I wish this stuff was around in 2003. I would have been able to do a lot more than I did, and it would have cost me a lot less.
I love the quote, and Jared, I just saw on Rain's page, we posted a quote, great job by our marketing team, said, you can't save your way to financial freedom, which the three of us understand, and a lot of people innately understand. You cannot save your way to financial freedom. And I would say, in terms of when it comes to real estate investing, you can't watch your way to become
so good
investor.
Oh, you gotta
coin that? Should I coin?
JG quote that, man.
Is that J Genius right there?
J Genius right there.
Hey, folks, if you want to learn about J Genius, you gotta watch the Real Riff. So coming to your TV or Facebook, coming everywhere. Okay. But yeah, point is this though, is Jared, can you get specific with me in terms of, with us and with our viewers, in terms of what's going to be covered in the boot camp? What can people expect to walk away from? I know raising capital is a big part, because that is a lot of people's stumbling block right now. Whether you're just starting, whether you've got 10, 20 properties, raising capital is a lot of people's next steps. I know that's a big thing. What else? Or elaborate on that.
Yeah, great question. So a couple of things. One, first of all, we're kind of creating the agenda based off of what people are needing. So a couple of days before the event, we're actually going to be sending an email out to everybody asking what it is that they need to learn for this event. Then we're going to start tailoring this agenda based off of that information. So that's
okay. Just pause right there. Slow it down there, big guy. Slow it down and calm down. Whatever else Patrick told me this afternoon.
Settle down and
settle down. Like, that's huge. I think that must be recognized, because so often, when was the last time you went to an event of any type, whether it had 50 or 500 people, and you were asked what you wanted as an attendee? I mean, that's incredible. So good on you. What else, Jared?
Well, the other approach is we just kind of talk about what we think, right? And that I'm not putting on the event for me. I'm putting on the event for the listeners, the viewers, the people who are attending. So the first and foremost, we're going to send an email out. Where are you stuck? What do you want to learn? What information do you need? And we're actually keeping slots open for those topics. Perfect. The second thing is joint venturing and RSPs. Like, I just did my first RSP mortgage, first one ever. I signed the paperwork today. It was $120,000 RSP. So this stuff works. This is stuff that John Heaney is going to be teaching. He's doing it. You know, John Heaney alone in the last few weeks has raised over $1 million of RSP money. So that's just another form of raising capital. There's ways to buy real estate out there nowadays where you actually don't need to qualify for a mortgage and you don't need to have any capital to play the game. So gone are the excuses of I got no money. And so we're going to be diving deep into that. I have a guy coming out to talk a little bit about Airbnbs. So there's a big thing going on right now in the market of how to build a real estate portfolio through Airbnbs where you don't actually own the real estate. So you're going to go use someone else's asset, someone else's real estate, and this guy's going to show you how to piece that puzzle together where now you can actually become his tenant, but then sublease it out through Airbnbs. Great strategy. And this is one of my coaching clients doing this. It's fantastic. Patrick's going to be talking about the great game of business, how to set it up, how to structure it. And, one thing that Patrick brings is a lot of stability and structure around the organization of a business. He has so many years of experience and he's seen so much stuff. So we have that. We're also going to be doing a kind of a scenario of where to fish in the pond, right? So Rain comes out and says, here's the top town to invest in, and that was Edmonton in all of Alberta. But we're also going to be disclosing the top 5 communities to be investing in. So, Rain has told us where to fish, the pond to fish in. We're going to tell you the fishing holes in the pond. Yeah. So this is a game that I play every single day because I invest purely in Alberta, right? Grand Prairie and in Edmonton. So that's another thing we're going to get. Role playing, we are going to role play your elevator pitch. So imagine this, you're going up, you're in an elevator in a 20-story building or an 8-story building, going up the elevator, and there's 4 people in it. And someone turns to you and says, hey, nice jacket, what do? You now have 30 seconds or less to get a sale or to get them to come back and say, what does that mean? So we're going to teach people how to do an elevator pitch properly, effectively, to get that next question of what does that mean? That's all we want. We don't want to sell them something. We want to get them intrigued that they say, hey, can I have your card? So we're going to teach people how to do that. And that's probably the biggest component of it all, actually, because the how-tos is really, really easy. It's the role playing to get you through your barriers, because most people stumble. Most people, when someone says, hey, what do you do? I'm a real estate investor. I help people retire. Well, that's not the role. That's not the elevator pitch. My elevator pitch is I help people have a limitless life. Well, what does that mean? Right? That's the question you want to get. You want to get someone to come back and say, what does that mean? How does that serve them? So we're going to spend a lot of time working on that.
Very good. And this is what I'm talking about. See, this is in the trenches. And I love, Jared, I know because you've described it to me, your sort of 5/6 steps to this elevator pitch, because a lot of times an elevator pitch isn't new. We've heard about them. We've tried them. But your process of taking people and don't reveal too much. I know you want to get into it. I can see you. You're chomping at the bit.
No.
Yeah,
but
I assure you, GG, no one has ever taught it this way. No one has ever taught it this way. No one has ever seen this type of training for an elevator pitch. This isn't something I've learned in Xerox. This is something I haven't developed it, but I saw it done and I just tweaked it into a real estate model. And I will assure everybody this alone will help them get a joint venture partner. This alone will help them get through that barrier of whatever's minimizing or limiting their success.
So here's what I'd like to end on this, because first of all, we got on the phone yesterday for the Real Riff show. It's supposed to be 20 minutes. It took 2 hours later. We were still shooting shit. So the point, I got to bring this in for a landing sooner or later. But I will say this. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. All right. And then I got my own view of it. But listen, Acreage is happening in Edmonton. There's a Rain member meeting coming. Tilt's got a boot camp. This is 3 events in a matter of a few weeks, guys. Why another event? Why go to another event when there's so much happening and people are so busy in their everyday lives? So there's somebody watching this right now thinking, should I really go to this one? What do you say to that person?
That's a good question, JG.
Great question.
I don't have an answer to that one, other than, here's what I do know is that the individuals who are going to take on growing their financial futures, they take it on. And there's always lots of reasons not to do something. But creating a financial future that takes you beyond what you're doing today it takes effort. It takes work, it takes time, and it takes being in the right environment, putting yourself in the right community, creating the right culture for yourself, or being part of a culture that actually starts to produce results. So, not everybody, we are going across the country, and I'm going across the country, and, we'll see you in Toronto, et cetera, Vancouver. But ultimately, in the world of events and education, you have to look at where you are on your journey and what do you need to take a next step, a bigger step, a better step. This isn't a huge, massive event. We're not trying to put 300 or 400 people in a room. We're actually, so it is very contained. It's going to be quite an intimate group of people that get together and learn about how to move their game forward and take action on it. So I don't know if that's inspirational, if that answers your question, but you have to really want to get into it. You want to take it to the next level. You got to do it.
Your wisdom is always profound, Patrick. Jared, your turn.
I would say this: why wouldn't you want to go to it? For $129 to $179, why wouldn't you? You come to Acre and you sign up as a new member, for example, or you come to Acre as an existing member. You come to Acre as an old member. And then you come to the rain event, and it's like, why take the pedal off the gas, or why take the foot off the gas? And I'm not saying you have to go hair back in 110 kilometers an hour, but if you actually look at the timing of it all, it's all interesting, the timing of it all. So you have Acre, you have the member meeting, and then you have my event, and then you have Christmas is coming, and then you have a new year. What a great time to kind of load up the toolbox to get ready for a new year of goal setting, weight loss, wealth creation, relationship building, whatever it is that you want to achieve. This is just about, I don't feel that anyone's going to walk out of my boot camp and go buy a deal the next day at all. But all it is about putting tools in the toolbox, getting comfort level, reducing fear, increasing knowledge, reducing fear, increasing support and a network, reducing fear, that allows you to go off and pull the trigger. That's what it's all about. I look back at my first joint venture partner. I didn't get my first joint venture partner until 2 years after I joined RAIN. I wasn't even looking for a joint venture partner, but I was going to all the joint venture meetings. I was talking to people. I was reading the joint venture secrets. I was doing all this stuff that when it showed up, I knew what to say. So this is just another tool in your toolbox, but it's going to be a little bit different because there's going to be a lot more hand-holding, a lot more interactive activity, a lot more questions being answered. So we're actually going to be able to move you down the line a little bit faster versus you going to 4 meetings trying to get those answers.
There's one thing I want to add to this. This goes back to Acre. The 3 of us did a time, money, knowledge segment, which was really, really well received. And one of the reasons it was well received because it shone a light on where do you invest your time, that non-renewable resource called time. And we're all very, very kind of aware of not only how we spend our time, but if we're having anybody show up at an event, it's top of mind for us. Is this a great investment on people's time? And so from my perspective, why would you attend an event like this when you've got all this other stuff going on? Why? Because it's a good use of your time. And it's not even like in terms of leveraging a couple $100, you're going to blow it out of the water. And so we know that in the world of time, money, knowledge, this hits all of the buttons exceptionally well, extremely hard, and you won't be let down. We just know too much to do that.
All I got to say, gents, is that I'm sad I'm not going to be there.
We're sad too.
I'm starting to wish I was going. I think I'm starting to wish that I was going. So that's great. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Great to chat again, and then really good to get some insights into this behind the scenes in the trenches boot camp, where you're going to role play, be in action, and not passively participate, but truly be feet to the fire and get her done. So thanks for putting it on, guys, and it's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks guys.